and I have the honor and privilege of hosting 5 amazing gals here with me. Ashley also Baldwin is going to be co-hosting with me, but these 5 women I have learned so much from, and you're going to get some insane nuggets from them tonight, especially on this topic, which is really hot right now, of finding your niche and just even expanding on that. And so we're really excited that you're here. Get your notebooks out. Also, I would just love to know, I'm in the process of making some rollers for some boss babes on my team, some leaders on my team, and I just love any blend suggestions. I mean, don't we all? So what are your top boss babe blends? It could be a diffuser blend. It could be a roller blend that you make for your team. I love getting these ideas. I try and switch it up every month, but type in the chat box so we can all see and get ideas. Right now, for me, I'm making little rollers for some girls on my team. I'm doing Awaken, grapefruit, and a little bit of neroli. But you guys, Awaken, if you haven't tried it, this is my jam right now. I'm loving Awaken. Good. Seeing some stuff coming in. You guys just type it in so we can get some info. Northern Lights Black Spruce, orange and frank. That's awesome. Keep it coming. Want to see it? Okay. So we are recording a couple more things and then we'll launch right in. We will be recording tonight's call so that you can send this out to anybody that couldn't attend, post in your business group. And then if you stay on, we are going to host a Q&A at the end with our speakers, our fabulous speakers. So we have platinum and diamonds on this call, and guys, they are just incredible, and I'm just so honored to hear from them tonight. So we're going to kick it off with Lindsay, who's going to go first. Hi, Lindsay.
Hey, Rachel. Hey, guys. So excited to share with you tonight. I'm so happy you're here. It's July. It's, summer, and you're here. So that's awesome, and congrats on that. I just want to preface by sharing a little bit of my story first, because I'm going to share with you guys tonight about just owning your story and a couple key things that are going to help you with organic marketing. So I started the Young Living business 4 years ago, and I feel like there have been multiple times in my business, especially like up until like the past 6 months, where I would go through times of feeling stuck, burnout, feeling like I wasn't fitting in a certain mold, and ultimately attaching expectations to certain results and outcomes. And I realized that that would just leave me unhappy in my business. It would just leave me really worn out, not finding joy. And I know Jessica is going to be talking a lot about joy, but that really needs to be foundational in your business. And it's always been an invitation for me to decide that I need a shift, right? Like, what can I shift in? What can I grow in so that I'm able to have joy, peace, and really own my story in this business? So that's what I'm going to be sharing a bit about. And before I even give you these tips, I want to share something really cool that I was hearing today from Casey Houghton, who is like my Young Living leadership rep. So if you didn't know you can do this, you can chat with your like local leadership rep minus Casey, and they can just give you a bird's eye view of what's going on in your organization, tips, like this will help you. I'm an Enneagram 3, so I could have like eaten this up for hours. I was like, tell me all the things, like so good. But he was sharing with me a really cool survey that Darren Hardy, who's the author of The Compound Effect, had asked his audience. So if you haven't added that to your book list, put it on your Amazon list right now. But he had surveyed his audience, what are the top 3 qualities that you look for in a leader? And I'm wondering what you guys think they are. There was actually 12 top responses, and I'll put all 12 in our Facebook group so that you guys can see that for the event link. But the top 3 guys were confidence, inspiring, and authenticity. So again, those top 3 things that people look for in a leader: confidence, inspiring, and authenticity. Not who has the most Instagram followers, not who is the most beautiful person in the world, not who seems to like have, has everything going for them. Like they look for confidence, inspiring, and authenticity. So as we are sharing tonight, I want you to like keep that as your foundation, write it down. These are things that you are going to want to grow in, and just, I hope it encourages you. Okay. So 3 things that are going to help you with organic marketing, igniting the fire. Number 1 is ultimately you need to embrace your own story. And if you were on our last Biz Collab call, this resonated with me so much. Hillary Belton, who's an amazing platinum leader, who was sharing on our last call, she was sharing how she mentors her team to just really bring their story, to authentically show up in that space, because no one is like you. No one is sharing, like no one has gone exactly through what you've gone through on social media and through Young Living. And when I think about the people that are consistently enrolling every single month on my team, I feel like I know them. Like I could go to their social media. I know what they're about. I've seen like the good, the bad, the ugly, the happy, the funny. I like to include funny whenever I'm sharing too. But like, I feel like I could get to know them just looking from their feed, looking at their stories. And that is so important, guys, because ultimately your niche, your niche, like, how do you actually pronounce it? I don't know. But like, ultimately that is you. So your audience is going to not stick around for your offer. Like they're going to stick around for you. Like, and that's how it is with Young Living too. Like, people stay in this because of the community. They stay in this because of you. So people connect with you before a product. So I don't want you to feel like your expertise on social media, it doesn't have to be like certain Young Living products. Your feed doesn't have to be like all Young Living. And if it is, like, cool. Like if that's what you want to do, awesome. It doesn't have to be strictly business. Like your story, like whatever you want your expertise to be, you're going to feel so confident in showing up with, like that is going to attract people to you. And I have found, guys, that when I'm confidently sharing my story, what I've gone through, what I stand for, like it just becomes like a catalyst for what I want to see with my business. And so that is going to be so special when you are showing up in your authentic self, you're your best self, and you attract the right people to you, which is important, right? You're not looking to attract everyone. You're looking to attract the right people to you. So number 2, guys, is building self-trust. And I think this is so important because confidence is going to come from the thoughts that you consistently choose to have about yourself and whatever you're sharing on social media. Okay. So if that's like a bundle you're featuring, if that's your hero products, whatever it is, like that confidence is a tangible thing. So I want to encourage you, if you haven't listened to this, I feel like I have to listen to it every week. Episode 7, Success Thoughts of Kristen Boss's podcast. I feel like we share about Kristen Boss a lot. We all love her so much, but that podcast episode I listen to like all the time because I need to just have those success thoughts like running through my brain, guys. And it just totally boosts me up listening to it too. I think so often we can be obsessing about what we think our niche should be. Like, is it like we think, oh, well, I love so many things. Like, do I have to like confine it to just this? And basically we get distracted from just sharing who we are, what we're loving, what is working for us, our story. And ultimately that's what people want to see, right? Because your results are going to come from you. So to build confidence, I want to encourage you to take action, right? And do little things that are going to build that self-trust. So that could be like doing something, even if you don't feel ready or qualified. So maybe you want to decide, hey, I'm going to decide to show up consistently in my stories every single day for the next week. And that's like a goal you're setting for yourself because you know that that's going to build self-trust. You know that's going to build confidence, right? Also investing in yourself and pouring the time into doing that self-care and attending to your needs, attending to self-development in your business, because you will feel aligned in your business if you're doing that, right? You're going to show up in a confident space. You're going to feel convicted. You're going to feel clarity with whatever you're sharing because you are just grounded in just like that belief that you're growing, right? So I want to encourage you with that too. So my third tip for you guys is to consistently show up with that conviction, certainty, and clarity, and with the goal of serving. So like I mentioned earlier, like I have shared on social media since starting my business, I was in the position just because of health problems that I was going through that I could not do anything in person. So I've been sharing on social media for years. I love sharing on social media, but something that has always made a huge shift for the results that I see with the interaction with people in my inbox, ready to go, asking me for my link to sign up, is making my goal every time I show up to be serving. So how am I solving problems for somebody today? Am I feeling purpose when I'm showing up? And I want to encourage you, if you haven't like dug into that, there's a great 7 layers of why exercise in the Grow group. Definitely check that out. But really digging into what like excites you to show up every day, because this is deeper than like, hey, I want to, bring my husband home from his job, or like, hey, I want a Land Rover, which that is on my bucket list, but that doesn't motivate me to show up. So anyways, it really is. So you have to be able to have that excitement and purpose, because that is going to be something people connect with. That is a tangible energy every time you are coming on the platform. And so keep in mind that when you're consistently showing up to serve, so maybe that looks like, giving ideas in your stories of like 3 ways that you're using these different oils today, or these are 3 different kinds of herbal teas that I've been loving, and this is why, and these are some of the cool benefits, whatever you want it to be, whatever you've positioned yourself to be the expert in. Look to consistently serve in that area, because people are going to see you as an expert. Doesn't matter if you're an expert. I'm not an expert in any of these different fields, right? But if you position yourself as an expert because you constantly are looking to help solve people's problems, people are going to come to you because they know they can expect that from you. They're going to choose you, because we've actually cut out the work for one another, because everybody here is sharing Young Living, right? Like by the time people have found you, they've seen oils like 1,000 times. Like, I honestly think that's a great thing. Awesome. You probably know about oils. So what's going to connect you to me? And ultimately, that's going to be my story. That's going to be how I authentically show up. It's going to be what I stand for. It's going to be what I feel passionate about. So just know that that's really important, and that consistency compounds. So I've seen just like, and I bet a lot of these other leaders that are going to share, I mean, I honestly enroll people more now than when I started the business. And I truly believe that is because of the consistency factor, right? Like I've built trust with my audience. They know I'm going to be around. Like I have consistently shown up in the space, posted, whatever I can. And so people know they can expect that. But the beauty is when you are consistently showing up ready to serve and coming from the space of just that conviction and clarity, you will be at peace. And that is such a beautiful place to be at in your business, right? Because you're just going to feel super grounded in what you're sharing and what you're doing. And honestly, I will say I have way more joy in my business than any other time period than I've done it. And it's coming from that point of just really feeling excited and happy and purposed about what I'm doing. So I hope that encourages you guys. Just to recap those 3 things quick again. Embrace your story, own your story, be digging into that. Number 2 is just building self-trust. And number 3 was showing up consistently with the conviction, certain, and clarity with the goal to serve. And so with that, Jessica Casey, take it away with joy.
Now I have to follow that amazing speech. Thank you. Now I'm like, I should have went first. So hi, I'm Jess Casey. I am a platinum. This is my 7th year doing the business. I am going to bring you guys some stuff that I have been through. If you've been around for a while, I can guarantee you're going to 100% resonate with what I'm going to say. And if you are brand new, get a pen and paper, because you will run into what I'm going to tell you at some point, and nobody tells you this stuff. So what I'm going to tell you tonight, when you hit where you're going to say, thank God for this one call, because somebody told me, because nobody told me these things. So I got my kit. My husband's a 2-time veteran, back injury. People join this business for community or product or money or whatever. And I did not realize what my why was for so long, and it was for community. Had I not have joined this business, I would be divorced right now. So this business actually gave me enough time to heal in my marriage and within myself, and just kind of filled my cup. However, I was on autopilot. And if you know anything about the military and the thing that happens when you come home, and it's a tough transfer of time. So I would show up in my business. It was my baby. It was what I wanted to do in the place where I felt that it gave me purpose. I was a full-time dental hygienist. I got pregnant 1.5 years after he came home. I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old now. So I've had 2 babies doing this business. And the first 4 years of doing this business, my mother held my babies every day. So not realizing after I was running in like year 4, I'm like, you know what, my marriage is great. I'm losing the joy in my journey. What is happening here? Well, I realized I initially thought that it was because the people that I started with, their goals had changed, or maybe their highest rank was star and I didn't have an open conversation, and I was showing up for them all the time and not creating boundaries around my time. And no, well, I was mad at myself. And it took me 2 years to realize the resentment I had was not within my organization. It was actually at myself and not creating boundaries and saying no to some of the things that I should have said no to. My biggest thing to tell you guys tonight is to make time for your business. Do not, some of you guys that are on here are going to hate me for telling your people this, but do not work in pockets of time. I don't care who you are. Do not work in your pockets of time. If you make the time, you will not have resentment in your business. If you just look for finding the time throughout the day, you will be like lose present in all of the things. So I'm going to tell you what ended up happening. So my reset, literally 2 years of showing up because I had to, not because I wanted to. I am an Enneagram 6. If you are a 6, you are loyal AF. And once you are friends with me, I will do the things. I will fly to your funeral. I will do whatever it is that you want. Even if we met once, like I am your person. Scarcity mindset, Enneagram 6. So my boundaries, I am really good. When I first started, I would answer the mom at 2 a.m. that would ping my phone because I didn't want her to think her oils didn't work because her baby had a fever and I wanted to help. Just so you know, I'm really not great at complaints. So I would answer and my husband would be like, it's pinging and it's 2, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I didn't want her to not believe in me that I was there for her. Okay. Bad boundary. Okay. Wrecks your marriage. Number 1, sets expectations for other people to think that you're available all the time and I'll tell you, in 2 years, you're not going to want to be. It's going to make you feel so good at the beginning that you're helping people and all of this stuff and they need you. And then in a year, you're going to be like, shit, there's a search bar in the group. Can you use that? Right. But at the beginning, you don't do that. So no, if you guys are brand new, get into your uplines group, use their systems, plug them into the groups, get them to be searching, because that's going to give you some freedom. So when I realized I needed to do boundaries, I went from answering, I'd do a call to my team. They'd miss it. A couple of them miss it, message me the next day, ask me about the call. I'd tell them the whole call. Instead of just saying, hey, there's a recording, could you watch it? I'd be like, let's do a call and I'll read you the call, because I felt that was valuable. Okay. Then when I realized I'm not doing that, people would message me and say, hey, could I have some help? And I'd say, did you look at the video? I became passive aggressively shut off. So I had to find a boundary that worked for me, that created good work habits that were sustainable, because there is nothing worse. I have seen so many girls, and I'm telling you, most girls in my own organization burn out because of hustle mentality. And as you guys could tell, the biggest thing, like we all love Kristen Boss, and one of the biggest things that you'll see everybody talking about is removing hustle mentality. Is not sustainable. It is not fun. It sucks the joy out of your business. It kills your adrenals. It creates expectations, disappointments, all of the things. We don't need to work like this to be successful. You can grow this business with grace and ease. The number one thing that you need to be doing is prioritizing growing your network and talking to people every day along with your product and opportunity. If you are doing that every day, you will grow, but you have to make time for it. So if you need a pen and paper, prioritize growing your networks, talking and posting consistently about what you do. People will say to me, I'm not growing. I'm showing up every day on social media. Okay. I do too. I get that. How many new connections did you make? How many samples did you offer? How many of your members did you ask for referrals for? How many of your members did you say, I'm hosting a class? Can I host a class for you? None. Okay. You can't just show up on social media and expect I don't know. I have 10,000 followers, and guys, it's not organic. I bought them and they're from a small part of China. A girl, they're like 10-year-old boys from China. Okay. I bought this 2 years ago because I wanted a swipe up link. So when you see a leader that has a ton of followers, just know that does not mean that she's anything special. I might get I don't know, 300 views out of all of those, which to me is a lot. That would be a lot of people in my home, right? I'm influencing all of those people. But if I wasn't connecting with the people that I engage on there every single day, I'm not going to have a business, because my mom and my aunt and Deborah from Nebraska already own oils, and they're not interested in talking oils. Yeah, they're going to order what I educate on ER, but they're not going to bring in my new market. Okay. So that's now step 2. We just talked about boundaries. If you guys have, everybody in here, I'm sure has an upline. If you don't, I want to talk to you about systems, and systems are super important because it's how you get paid when you're not on your phone. So for me in my business group, I'm red green. So I'm like, I'm getting it done, how to do it. I have, when you onboard a new brand partner, a system, what do you do? When you enroll somebody in Subscribe to Save, what do you do? When you enroll a new brand partner, that enrolls a new brand partner, what do you do? That's green, right? Like that's like 7 levels green of like all the things. I do that because I can plug people in. So when I'm not around or I'm not available to answer that, or in 7 years, when this thing is automated, or maybe 2, it's all there for people to be able to duplicate. And duplication is so, so important for you to be able to show up with joy, because you're not answering the same question. Teach people to fish. They're not going to like it. Teach them to fish. Okay. Because when you have somebody that says, I know there were 19 training calls from Young Living about all this brand new information. I'm going to go a little bit over on my time. I'm sorry, whoever's next. I'm probably going to run at 17 minutes. Okay. I just looked up and I'm like, teach them to fish, because you don't want to wake up to like, hey, what is this again? When you know, you just did a call on it. So really just be transparent with your team about what your vision for your business looks like and what you want, because as you grow, you can grow that with them and not have resentment later. Okay. What else do I got here? Lizzie just did a great post on this. And actually I learned this from Brandon Barber. When I tell you guys not to work in pockets of time, make time, I do a brain dump. I saw Lizzie posted yesterday and I shared it. It was phenomenal. Brandon Barber, who's a coach, I coached with him for about 6 months. He was the one that taught me, like, you've got resentment issues. And I'm like, I do. Do a brain dump. Monday night, I write every single thing on my paperwork, from like pap smear to like buying oranges. Okay. Like every single thing that I need to do that week is on the paperwork. Then I grab the things that I have to do on that paperwork and I schedule it in. I schedule watching Handmaids with my husband. I schedule going outside, playing with my kids. And do you know why? Because in those moments, I want to be present in those moments, because if I'm not present in those moments, I'm resented later, and I cannot show up to grow a business with resentment. So as you guys are new and growing your businesses now, don't be at the zoo selling a kit. I'm going to tell you right now, here's what I do. Hey girl, I'm making dinner. I'll get back to you in a little bit. Normalize it, because then if she wants to be a brand partner, now she's going to be like, well, I'm at the zoo too, and I've got to answer that. Don't get me wrong. There is a hype and an amazing high about this. I think it's like dopamine hits is what they call it. When you sell a kit and you're onboarding and things are going, when it slows down, you're losing out. You lose the joy in the journey. So set like what you want now. I'm almost done. Self-care. I'm not talking about mani-pedis. I'm talking about the hard shit. Okay. I'm not talking about the foofy stuff. I'm talking about personal development. If you are silver and up and you have not hired a coach yet, find a coach, because if you are not growing where you want to grow, there is something that you're missing, and it's in here. My limiting belief is I am not good enough. It shows up all over my damn business. I am not worthy. There's 11 pages of people on this call. When I get off this, you know what the number one thing I'm going to say is, did I add any value tonight? Was that even good enough? There was that many people on here. Then in 2 seconds, I'll scratch it and say, you know what? You did a great job. It shows up all the time in my business. So podcast, schedule an uncomfortable coaching call. And enjoy your life now, because adding another 0 to your paycheck is not going to bring back that time I didn't hold my baby. All those arguments with my husband where he did not feel important, that extra 0 did not cover that. All that covered that was all like that resentment that I had. Okay. So you are worthy, and it does not need to be painful to grow a network marketing business. I just hired a VA after 7 years because I thought if I wasn't doing all of the work, it wasn't worthy of me to get a paycheck. Okay. So no, if you can sub out housekeeping or a babysitter on Friday nights or Mondays so you can get a little bit of work done, you're worthy for this business. Remove expectations. I only have 2 more. Hard AF, removing expectation. That's literally like the hardest thing in the world. So you can listen to some podcasts on that, but literally when you can show up from a place like Lindsay said of serving, and I think it's called servant leadership, where you're just showing up to add value and actually truly help people without an outcome or an expectation. Guys, it's hard. It's hard. And you have to check yourself all the time. But that's what Young Living is. That's what Gary wanted, was wellness, purpose, and abundance. That's what we are here to do. Be open to pivot and evolving, because right now you guys have the biggest coast of freedom we have ever had in this business. I've had to shoehorn a starter kit into a woman who just had a baby. And she's not going to use 9 of the oils out of that starter kit, but I could sell it. I could sell it to anybody. You guys now can create these customized kits for these new mamas and hormones. I have hormone problems. So here's this kit. You got to get it first. You guys can show up so authentic to just the things that you love. You can pick 10 of them and go over and over and over and over and over about them and just be so authentic that you don't have to sell something to somebody that's not authentic to you. So do your classes, be in your community. Don't stretch yourself too thin. We have the best product and the best company. I don't care. I mean, I've been on calls where there's tons of different companies and I'm like, Young Living's still the best. In my mind, our community is great. This year's been a shit mess, but you know what, guys? Like, it is getting so much better and we are here for it. So that is it. And I went over like a little bit more than that. So who's next? I don't know who's next. Lindsay, if you want to.
Stephanie is next. Thank you, Jess. That was awesome.
Hey guys, that was awesome. I'm trying to man, that was good energy, good energy. So I'm gonna write my time so I don't forget here. Okay, so I approached this in a different way. I wanted to approach this in a way that I've seen and coached people over and over and over again. We go on these calls, we get super amped up, we're really excited. And then we have those people that 2 weeks later still haven't done anything. And you're sitting there like, oh my goodness, what, either you're like, what did I say wrong? Or what did I not do enough for them? Or that person's like, I really want to do this, but I still don't think I'm good enough. So I uploaded this into the group. It's called Owning Your Business. And if it doesn't work, I can upload it again. But I have this little step plan for you. So I want you to sit down and I want you to really dig deep. And I want you to sit down and plan. Ready? Plan your blocks. Plan those things that are going to get into your way. Okay. So this is like a proactive thought here. We have the motivation. You guys are awesome. We have all the resources, all the tools to do this. We have good information, but you need to be able to think about what's going to get in your way. So you have it planned. So when it happens, you can say, I'm busting through this without it letting you go down. Okay. So we're going to soak this in and we're going to plan our destruction so that when it starts to happen and we start to see these patterns and we start to realize, oh my gosh, I'm getting in my way, I'm not doing this, we're going to be able to be like, you know what, I have plan B. So I want you to write down something that would block you. So for example, not thinking you're good enough was one that comes up a lot. Being judged by people is another one that people are worried about. Being too salesy is something that people usually block themselves with. So what is something that might stop you from actually just being like, I'm going for this, I'm ready to do this, and write down that thing. So let's say, for example, we're worried about people judging us. Okay. That's where we're not confident in ourself enough that we think people are going to be like, oh my God, why is she doing that? Or that information isn't good enough. Or maybe we don't know enough, which all those things are completely ridiculous, because you'll learn in this call, people don't want that. They want you, they love you. They trust you. You're building this energy. You're unique and no one else can do what you do. So people are looking for you, not for whatever else. And then the product comes from there. So be proud of who you are and know that's what you're representing. And that's what people deserve to know. I always say this things in my team, do you want somebody else to sell to your mother, or do you want you to sell to your mother? And you have to be proud of that and go for it and let it shine, because otherwise your mom's going to buy from somebody else, or your best friend, etc. And we all know how that feels too. So the block would be, or the habit would be judging, judgments, people judging us. How are we going to get around this? So you have to really think about what is going to motivate me to let go of the fact that I'm worried about somebody judging me. I'm worried about somebody not having enough. And you can literally just, what's an action plan? An action plan would be, in my mind, just be consistent. The more you're consistent, and you're going to hear consistently through this whole thing, the more you're consistent, the more you're going to get used to doing this, the easier it's going to be. And the more you're going to get people talking to you about it, being excited about it, that's going to bring up your confidence. And then you're going to just stop worrying about people judging you, because you're going to be, so excited because people are coming to you, they're enjoying the products, you're doing a good job, and that builds your confidence. Another one would be with judging would be, do some inner work. Like if you're worried about people judging you, then maybe we have to look inside what you're scared of so that we can release that. So, you know, these things can be really hard to think about. These things can be really hard to write down and to identify. But when you have a plan to go around that block, that block won't affect you. You're releasing that block. You're planning for it, you're identifying it, and you're just letting it go. And that's going to save you, because you need to have plans, not only for your success, but have plans for when you're not doing so well. You know, you could do another block like, okay, yeah, I know, right? You never plan for it, but if you don't plan for it, how are you going to maneuver it? How are you going to move past it? How is it not going to block you? If you don't plan for that, it's going to block you, or it might be really hard for you. Like we just want to like smash through these things so we can continue. Another one that's a really big one that people don't think about, but a block would be, I'm too busy. I don't have time. I'm way too busy. I don't have time to do this. So then you just start making less time and less time and less time. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing anything for the business. And, you know, how are we going to get through this? So if you're too busy, then you have to sit there. What's your plan of action to go around that? My plan of action is, I'm not too busy to help somebody else. I'm not too busy to show people that this is going to change their life. And that continues to fill my heart, because this is that important to me. I eat, sleep, and breathe this because this has changed me. And I will never be too busy to offer that awareness to somebody, because they deserve that. And they deserve to have that abundance in their life and that opportunity in their life. So if I'm too busy, shame on me, because that's me being selfish in my mind. I'm not too busy. And also my biggest, where did it go here? My biggest thing, my biggest drive is like, I want to ensure too that I'm representing a consistent thing for my team. So if I get too busy, my team's going to feel like they can be too busy and just drop things. And if they can consistently see me maybe pull down a little bit and not be as go at some times, but always doing something consistent, then they're going to say, okay, she can always push through this. And in setting that example, I'm trying to think of other ones, but if you plan it, so plan, how are you going to move to the too busy? This is another thing, like you guys know, the more you can plan, the better your business is going to be. Like, even if it's just weeks ahead, we say like the 90-day thing, plan 3 months ahead, so the more you can plan, you can't get too busy because it's already in your schedule. You can't get too busy. So, put that bar on yourself. Like, okay, Stephanie, I know that I get overwhelmed from December to February because of, we do maple season. I get super overwhelmed. I know that nights aren't going to work. So how am I going to get this business in? So you plan for that block instead of it being like, yep, we are way too busy. It's just sliding through the cracks. Now I have a plan. I'm going to actually do a little bit more during the day. I'm going to schedule my posts in my group. I'm going to see if, Sarah and Jenna can actually do a couple lives each night on the week, and just make sure that we're still pushing through. We still have that consistency and that good energy. Something you guys may not think about, social media is a huge thing. Do you ever think about, if I have a really calm, easy day where I have some free time, I'll go through my house and I'll take cool pictures of my daily routine, and I'll store those photos on my phone, or I'll take some, videos for the reels, and I'll do that and I'll store that. So if I have a really busy day or busy time, I already have pictures that are ready that I can just quickly caption, ready to go and send it. So there's no excuses. I always have time because it's already pre-planned. So, think about your blocks, like really think about your habits, reflect on your business in the last, how many years you've been doing it, and think of the things that have gotten in your way or have frustrated you, or you've had to work over, and really, really write that stuff down, and then think, how am I going to get past this? How am I going to plan this? What am I going to do for that? Yeah, this photo thing is amazing, and prepare yourself to overcome that block and allow it to not help you. Allow it to not help you to fail. Something, I'm really into the neuroscience of the brain. So if you think about it in this way, if you start to train your brain in your mind to actually prepare for your negative habits, for your blocks, for those tendencies, if you continue to do that with your business, guess what, guys? This is actually going to turn your tendencies into your lifestyle too. Yeah, because a lot of your patterns are going to be the same that you will probably have in life too. So you're going to train your brain to start planning for things that get in your way, negative things that get in your way. And it improves it improves us on different levels, which is a bonus. Like that's the thing that I think that all of you guys can agree to is like this business, it's not a business. Like for me, this is who I am. And this allows me to have this full identity in one. And it's amazing because if I work on my business, I'm going to work on myself too. And you can correlate that. So just cool little thing about doing patterns. If you guys do not have this book, the Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils, I like tangible things, right? This is a book. This is amazing, and it will teach you how to release things. It incorporates the oils. So if you have anxiety, you can use the pressure points, and you can use that. There's a lot of things for like anger, frustration, like holding here and putting purification on there, tangible books, tangible things that allow you to work on yourself so that you can be better for your family, for your lifestyle, and for your business. Because as well as I do, like everything carries over into your business, and people can sense that, people can see that. So continue to know I'm going to be the best I can be for my business if I can be the best for myself. So that goes into like finding your confidence in yourself. So if you guys know me at all, I'm like completely obsessed, like you guys all probably are, with Young Living. Everything is everything, right? But this is the reason. Going back into the brain, like we have essential oils, right? We have essential oils. And when you are looking to work on, your social media, your business, everything that we're focusing on right here, use your oils to project that stuff, because these oils will actually release the negative patterns, release the negative energy, and help to flow positive energy into your brain to allow you to be the better part of you. So suggestions for oils that I put down here, and it's on this link, like Valor. Put Valor on every single day, because that's going to boost your confidence and courage. I used to break out in hives before I would go live or do anything. And you see me all day long if you follow me. I would have to wear like sweatshirts because I would break out in hives because I would be so nervous. And that was a block for me. And then one day at convention, someone's like, you don't do lives, you need to do lives. I'm like, oh my God, I can't do lives. But it's like, people need to see you. They want to learn you. They want to see your energy. They want to build trust with you. And this is something that's really huge. And so many people make that block. I can't get on the screen. But then they get to see you. Like, it doesn't matter what you look like. Your people are seeing your energy. They're seeing your compassion. They're seeing everything that you are in a positive way. And honestly, if those people are going to have criticisms about it, they can just scroll past you, and just let that go. People are just going to scroll past if they don't like what they see, which is fine. You deserve the energy of the energy that you're putting out. But put Valor on every single day for courage. White Angelica. So this one is huge for business building. If you have fears, you have worries, if you have negative thoughts about yourself, if you have negative thoughts about your business or anything, just put the White Angelica on. That is huge. It's going to release that negative energy. This is like super common stuff. The one oil that really drove me into my business was Highest Potential. You organize like an insane person with highest potential. You can actually think of things that you would never think of with putting highest potential on. I put it on my forehead, I put it on the sign of a cross, and I use that highest potential every single day. And that one I would just promote so much because it helps you to organize. I mean, we have these at our fingertips. Let's just use them, and use them with intention that you're going to just project yourself and allow yourself to let go. And yes, the Great Day Protocol is insanely amazing. Also, the feelings kit is awesome, but steering into one that I think that a lot of people overlook. One is forgiveness. When you're releasing things and you're trying to get past blocks and you're doing this social media thing that can be completely scary, forgive yourself for things in the past that have scared you. Forgive yourself in the past for people that have criticized you and that you've heard. Forgive anything in the past that has put blocks on you where you don't think you're worthy enough, and use that forgiveness every day until you really feel like you've let that stuff go. Because what blocks us and creates our habits are things that have influenced our mind to think that way. So if we can forgive those and let them go, we can move past them. I have one more and then I'm done. The other one that you might not think about is inner child. Inner child brings out that inner you, that person that has not been judged, that person that has not been influenced in negative ways, that person that just is that little baby with that innocence, and you're harnessing that into an adult. And you can, live the way you want to live, you can feel the way you want to feel, and you can let go of all those blocks and all that negative energy. And so put inner child on every single day, because you're going to sprout out this beautiful person that is letting go of what people care about, and letting go of all those things and harnessing this beautiful, vibrant self of you. So those are on there too, if you see the link, but those oils are just, amazing. Inner child, navel. Okay. It's going to go right on the navel where you're, that life force of that umbilical cord. So we're really bringing out that inner child. Forgiveness is over the heart. But if you're somebody that's like mentally really hard on yourself, put forgiveness on your head too, because your heart and your head need that good positive energy, and letting that go. I put gratitude on here too, but I know I'm running out of time. Valor, I like to put valor right on my crown, right here, right on my head, because that is, it connects you to your higher self, it connects you to your soul, and it's like direct connection to like power, empowerment. And that's what you need with the valor. The book is Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils. It's phenomenal. Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils. I'm going to let you guys go, but plan for your blocks. It sounds weird, but that is the most effective thing you can do for yourself, because you're identifying it, you're speaking it out loud, and you're saying, this is not going to affect me anymore. I'm going to move past this. Have a good night.
Hey guys, I am up next, and I'm so excited to get to share with you all. I'm going to slightly wing this tonight because I have like 50 million things I always want to share with people, and I'm super excited. So first of all, my name is Lizzie Palios. I am a diamond leader, live in Florida, and I'm going to be talking to you guys all about niche and Instagram and organic marketing, and just kind of put all that in the space of like 10 minutes, okay? So I remember about a year ago, I was on Instagram, and I would get I don't know how many of you guys, if you guys agree with this, put a little emoji like this in the comments. I would get so frustrated with it. I was like, I'm posting stuff, I'm talking all the time. Like, I don't know what my niche is. Like, what the heck is a niche or a niche, or however you guys say it over here? I'm from England originally, by the way. But anyway, I used to get so frustrated, and I just took the time to basically, just watch everything in the world about trying to find your niche. How are people enrolling 5-10 people a month on Instagram? Like, it was driving me nuts. So I've been a big warm market girl. So like, I've grown a lot in person. I've been growing this business for 4.5 years, just hit diamond in March. And so I did a lot of stuff offline. And so number one thing I'm going to tell you guys about growing on Instagram, because this is basically my story. So I grew from about a year ago, I think I was about 1,000 followers. And I'm now at almost 18,000 followers. And I've just done it really completely organically. I did one follow loop once. So if any of you guys are wondering if you should do follow loops on Instagram, I'm just going to tell you right now, don't do them. Like Jess was saying earlier about buying followers, like, it's just not worth it, because what you just get is a bunch of duds that aren't talking to you. And followers are amazing on Instagram, but really what you want to build is connections. Now, you can be enrolling 5 to 10 people a month on Instagram, even 2 a month on Instagram. That is amazing. Even 1 is wonderful, right? Like, I think any person that you enroll a month, if you enroll 1 a month, guys, I have not been a high enroller and I got to diamond. Like, I'm not a high enroller. I've been a steady 2-person enroller a month, and I've gotten there in 4.5 years. So you don't have to be, it's not like when you're enrolling 10, all of a sudden you're going to get to the big ranks. It's all about how you love your team and how you connect with people, how you love on your business builds is how you do that. However, I thought to myself, I do want to get on Instagram, and I want to be reaching a cold market. And so I just read everything I could. I joined Kristen Boss's Social Selling Academy, which really helped, but I would say I was like almost there. And then that just helped me get the kind of permission that I needed to run with the niche that I wanted to run with. And so for me, a year ago, I think I was still showing pictures of my kids, which is great. Like, if you want Instagram to be a micro type blog, then you can absolutely do that. Like, you can, Instagram can be whatever you want it to be. But if you want to be someone that is reaching cold market people, now here's the thing, a lot of people will say to me, oh, I'm out of my warm market. And let me just tell you, you're probably not. I am still enrolling people who knew me from high school. So like, I'm still enrolling people that I've known, okay? You're probably not putting it out there enough, what you do and the things that you love. You probably don't have what are called, I don't know who came up with this phrase. If someone knows, they can put it in the comments, but hero products. So it's the products that you regularly talk about. And I think it's really good to have like 3 to 5 hero products that you talk about all the time. And a lot of people on Instagram are like, I can't go on Instagram stories and share this because I've just shared it last week. You can, because only around 3% of your followers even see your Instagram stories, and that changes all the time. And so sometimes we think, oh, everyone's seen everything I'm doing, and that is called the spotlight phenomenon or the spotlight effect. It makes us think everyone's seeing everything we're doing all the time, and I need to hide myself, or I can't say that again because, and let me tell you something. And this is something we had a call today with Kristen Boss, who all of us talking about. She's amazing. Check out all of her podcasts. But she said that if you're saying the same thing over and over again as a leader, you're doing it right. And so I think, and I think that is actually true on Instagram as well. If you are saying the same things over and over again, sharing the same products, you're doing it right. And I did not massively grow on Instagram, but I used it to help grow all the people that I'd enrolled. Plus, even if you're showing up on Instagram and no one is talking back to you, your team are watching you do that. And then they're going to duplicate it. It's a great tool to help duplication, because that is what you want to do in this business, is you want to learn how to duplicate everything that you're doing. And so when you're on there and you're showing up consistently, you're truly helping people. And one of the things, Lindsay talked about this, about going onto Instagram and serving people. This is so key. People come on Instagram these days not to look at all your pretty photos anymore. They don't, that's not, it's changed from that. What they're going on there for is help, and something they need help with. And there are so many different things that people go on. It depends what they're going on in their life. If someone's just had a new baby, they're going to be going and searching the hashtags for like new motherhood or new mom, and they're going to be looking through all those things to get help and advice on something they need. So people come onto Instagram, they literally scroll, or they look at the explore page, they scroll there, right? And then they will pick things that are helping them, and they might hit the follow button or they might not. So I remember when people used to tell me like, followers are amazing, but you just need connections. And that drove me nuts, because I'd look at their account and they had 30,000 followers, and I'm like, great, I'm sure you're enrolling so many people though, aren't you? And so I remember that, and I was just like, okay, let's see if they're right. So yes, I grew my account, and I did it through just niching down. And if any of you see my Instagram, I love Instagram Reels. And if you guys are not making Reels yet, you need to start making them, okay? They are the Instagram videos that you can make up to 60 seconds now. But I suggest that you always keep them like 15 seconds and under. 15 to 30 seconds is like when you're really doing like a teaching kind of reel, and then like about 5 to 7 seconds if you want to create kind of a viral reel. Those are the ones that go over and over and over again, that people will play over and over again. So I've had a lot of fun with reels. Now, do you have to dance around? No. I tell everyone, you don't have to dance around if you don't want to. You can do things. You just want to entertain people with those. You want to entertain, inspire, or you want to teach something. And your reels want to fall into one of those 3 categories every time you do it. And entertaining reels right now are doing really, really well. So if you laugh at something throughout the day and you're like, oh, that's funny, or you realize something, write it down in the notes in your phone and use it to help create content, okay, for what you can be posting on. So that's just a little bit on kind of reels. If you're not making those yet, I would do it. How do you choose your niche when you have so many passions? Yes. Okay, let me get to that. That's a really good question, because this is the really scary thing. It's like, if I pick one niche, then what about these other 5 things I really care about? Okay, that's a great question. And that's what I struggled with a lot, because I do have a bunch of things, we adopted our youngest. So I love adoption, and I would love to just talk about that all the time. And then I want to talk about these other things. And I definitely do talk about my story in it. The 3 were educate, entertain, and inspire people. So inspiring people with a reel or any kind of post is like talking about something you overcame or anything like that. But anyway, so choosing your niche. Number one thing I want to say is, instead of calling it what's my niche, I would scrap that. Like, what's a niche I could talk about? Okay, niche is something that you can pivot on. Okay, you can pick something for a while, and you don't just want to pick something and be like, okay, I did 3 posts and no one commented. You want to continue to do it, because as with this business and everything else, if you want to be successful in this business, you have to show up consistently, because what happens is people don't trust you. If you disappear, then people aren't going to trust that you're going to be there for them in 6 months when you're like, I don't know how to use Panaway. They don't know that you're going to be there. And so if you're just hiding all the time or disappearing or feeling defeated and stopping, then that's not good. We want to be people that are consistent. And this is something, Instagram is something you're going to wrestle with a lot. And finding a niche, not your niche, because you could pick a bunch of different things. Okay, you really, really could. And what will happen is when you niche down, you pick something, say it's crocheting. I'm just saying it doesn't have to be Young Living. If you're going to be talking about oils all the time, okay, I'm going to say this. If you're going to be talking about oils all the time, you're probably going to attract more oil people. And that's awesome. And I've got a lot of Young Living followers, love it. And I love to help anyone. But if I want to be enrolling more people, I've got to be talking about something else as well, right? Or something a bit broader. And your niche can be knitting. Like if you're an amazing like knitting person, you could be on there, you could be sharing all the best patterns. And what happens is you talk about that kind of thing for a while, people will start, oh, you want to learn how to knit, you need to go and follow this person, they're the person that you need to follow. Okay, awesome. And so they will come over to your account, they will follow you for that. Okay, and you've got all these other burning things, I want to talk about these things, you still can, but you want to talk about you want to speak to your niche about 80% of the time, and then like 20% you can just put like a miscellaneous thing in there. And you do want to be including things that you do, because you are you on Instagram, you're not Young Living, you are you, you're not any product, you're you, but you love and you are a brand partner with Young Living. So like that just is what you throw in, and you throw in all that stuff in your stories. That's really the place to sell, is in your stories. Like if I'm flicking through reels, right, I love to go, and if you don't do this already, 10 to 15 minutes a day, maybe some of you do longer, some days I do longer, I need to stop myself, but go to the explore page, go and watch reels, like go and look at all the different posts going on, see what's trending. Now when I sometimes hit a product, a really salesy post from another company, sometimes I'm like, it doesn't make me get excited. Okay, so sometimes what you want to do with your Instagram is you want to almost take yourself out of being you and come to your page pretending you're not you, and think to yourself, okay, what am I about here? Like, am I too salesy? Am I too much? Like, am I giving value in other areas? And so Lindsay says she does this to get ideas and save reels as drafts. Yes. So get ideas and save them as drafts to use later. That's perfect. But niche is just basically to like put it really, really, really basically, niche is a topic that you talk about. Okay, niche is a topic. It's not this big thing that I'm stuck in forever. But if you really do want to grow following on Instagram, you are going to pick one thing and you're going to talk about it all the time. And then, so 80% of the time you're going to talk about your niche topic, and then 20% you can throw in something else. Okay. Anyway, I hope that helps. Yeah, it's been a journey, but I've loved it. And I think the biggest thing that you want to be doing is, if you want engagement on your account, you have to go out and give it. And I don't mean like go out and do that, I'm going to go and like three, some people are like go and like three posts and then they comment on one, like, no, instead of spending energy there, spend energy on your content and serving people and helping people. Like, don't give energy to that, give energy to what you're going to be putting out. Be confident in it. Okay, you do have something to offer people. You have been through something that only you have been through. Like, there are some things in your life that that people have not gone through, and you can help someone. Like, what if there's someone that is about to go through something or is going through something hard that you've been through and you can help them with, right? I always think like that. I always think of myself like 3 years ago, and what do I want to tell myself back then when I was just starting out my business, or when I was silver, I think at that time, or executive. What do I want to tell myself? What could I tell myself to get to where I am now? So my Instagram niche I picked is all about growth, because I'm an Enneagram 3 and I'm obsessed with growth in every area, but really helping people to grow personally on Instagram. And really the thing I talk about the most is just being consistent in anything, and you will grow. But I did just launch, and I'm excited I'm excited for this to happen. But if you guys want more, I've had a lot of requests for just like personal coaching, and I would love to do that. But I actually just today, I've been working for the past couple of months on a mini course that is $47. Launch price is over 3 hours of training. It's all about basically how to grow on Instagram, how to content create, all the different post types you can make, so much stuff. So if you guys want to check that out, you can go on my Instagram and you can see that and check it out and see if you would like to jump in. So any questions about anything? I think, we're gonna have Kathleen speak and then we're gonna go into questions, right? So I'm gonna hand it to Kathleen. She is so awesome and so fun.
Guys. Okay, wow. Just following all this wisdom. So let's hope I have something valuable to say. Okay, my name is Kathleen. I'm a platinum. I have been doing Young Living for just about 4 years and have grown mainly in person. Instagram is kind of my follow-up situation. So I'm sort of in that spot that Lizzie was in a year ago where I'm like, should I make a niche? What's a niche? What do I do? And it's just been really interesting to kind of like grab my bearings there. So something I want to start off with is, does everyone know what the love language quiz is? I think most of us know what this is. There's 5 love languages. Bear with me here. This is going to come full circle. So there's acts of service, words of affirmation, physical touch, quality time, and gifts. And basically the premise of this whole thing is, how do you feel loved and how do you give love? And you want to like love your spouse or love your friends in the way that they receive love. It means more, it's well received, all the things. So when Dean and I first took this test, Dean's my husband, when we first took this test, we were just blown away because I was trying to cover every single love language. I mean, literally all 5. I was like, I got to cover all my bases. I need to make sure I hug him every day. I need to make sure I tell him how great he is and like offer to cook him dinner and also bring home surprise presents. Like, it was like, I was just doing so much. I was so tired. And I felt like not all of it was being like received the way I wanted it to be. And then it was just like, I was feeling underappreciated. And we took this test and it was like, oh, he only feels loved with acts of service. So it was almost like I could take 70% of my efforts and throw them away, have 70% more time and like spend a little more time doing acts of service. And so when I think we talk about niching and like really growing organically, it's like, hey, stop wasting your time trying to be a jack of all trades and do everything and be good at everything and appeal to every market out there under the sun. Guess what? It's not going to work. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. I just did. Sorry. But you have to understand, just like Lizzie was saying, when you choose something that is your niche or your topic or something you love, that opens an entire market. Like, you think it's like a smaller market because you're talking about one thing, when in reality, there's no way you're going to enroll every single person on Instagram. So like, just be really smart with what you're doing. And so when you think about like finding a niche, what can you talk about all the time? Like, what's something you could talk about every day, all day to any person, a stranger on the street, someone in the grocery shopping line, like your best friend, something you could talk about nonstop because you just like, you can't get enough of it. Start there. And so when we really look at like, what is our niche, like, don't be discouraged by narrowing down your content, because it's not like you only have to post about that for the rest of time, but that gives you a really strong way of getting an audience that trusts you. Because if you're like, let's say my niche is cooking and you're sharing recipes every day, you're like simple, easy recipes, whatever. You're bringing in all these people who are searching for or really in love with simple, easy cooking. Those people make your recipes, they eat your food, they use your meal plan, and then they trust you. And then when you get in your stories and you start talking about, Ningxia, because that is like something that you have to have in your pantry and like all the things, like they have already built this trust with you on something they love and know about well enough to know that what you're saying is of value, that then they go over to the other side and they're like, you know what? I love her meal plans. I love her nutrition, like her healthy living recipes, whatever. I'm going to try this Ningxia thing because it seems like even if it's just like, I really like her, so I think I'm going to try Ningxia. Like, how many of us have done that? Like, how many of us have seen someone on Instagram where we're like, I just really like them, so I think I think I'm going to try that. Like, come on, we've all done it. We're all guilty. So I would just encourage you to like really figure that out. The second thing I want to talk about is, it's exciting when we find our niche. It's exciting when we're like getting into a groove and a rhythm. However, like we are leaders, which means we lead teams of people who also need to find their bliss and their niche and all the things, which means we need to be able to duplicate how to find your niche. So I'm going to give you 2 things that I think you should talk to every one of your builders about. And you can do this one-on-one, you can do this in your groups, whatever. And honestly, I'm going to attribute this to my upline told me in the very beginning. What are like when they were talking about like, oh, branding yourself, like what makes you, ask your people, like write down 10 words that you want people to think of when they think of you. Not like, oh, what do you think they think of? No, what do you want them to think when they think of you? Like, do you want, and it doesn't have to be like, oh, oils and wellness. And no, like you as a person, what is something that like, if that topic was brought up, they would be like, you should talk to Kathleen. She totally knows all the things about that. Or like, she like has the best recipes, or like she feels really strongly about that, whatever. You want to be that expert in that field so that again, you're building trust and whatever. So when you tell your builders, especially someone you're new, like brand new that you're onboarding, you're like, you may not even know them that well. Like, let's hope you do, but like, if you don't, we still want to be able to help them. So like, hey, what are 10 things you want people to think of when they think of you? And let's start there. Okay. What are your favorite things from that list of 10? Like, what are the things that you just love so much, or like you want to be a part of your life all the time? And so that I've found helps people get started and like get to that point where they're like, oh, okay. Because here's the thing. We all know that like getting started is the hardest part. Like write down the 10 words, because even if you only come up with 7, it's 7 more than you had yesterday. The other thing I want to say is, don't be super worried about it being one thing you only talk about all the time. Lizzie says this too, but like, you can have like a really solid niche and then have sprinkles of other things that make you a person, like that make you a human being. So like, that's pretty cool too. And also when we think about like talking about our niche and really stepping into who we are and sharing, like, I think it was Jessica who said like our own story with Young Living, like, people's biggest fear is like being salesy, or like, what if I'm being salesy? It's like, you're not salesy if you're talking about things that you genuinely care about. For me, like my niche is being at home. This probably sounds really dumb, but like I do everything at home. I don't like to leave. I don't like to travel. The military kind of ruined that for me. I want to stay in my house and do all the things in my home with my friends. I'll have people over all day, every day, but like, I like my house. I want to be in here. I want to cook at home. I want to have my babies at home. I want to do all the things at home. So when someone like, gosh, I just lost my whole train of thought. Anyway, I'm not embarrassed that I like to be at home. Like, it doesn't freak me out. I don't feel like I'm being weird when I like rave about cooking all my meals at home, because like, I like to do that. I like to be at home. And so like, if you're operating in your niche, which is true to who you are, it's going to make you feel less salesy, because it's not going to come from a place of, oh, I have to sell, how I like to cook, when like I actually only like Kraft mac and cheese. Like, this is so awkward. I don't know what to do. It's like, no, you're not going to pick a niche that's not you. You're going to pick a niche that's like so authentic to you that comes across. Your Instagram comes across super genuine. People are drawn into that, and then they believe you when you talk about oils. So that's super, super important. And then the last thing I want to talk about is, when you operate in your niche, this attracts people you're going to really enjoy working with. Like people who have common interests with you, people who feel just as passionately about things that you feel passionate about. That's really fun, guys. Like, that is so fun. Some of my favorite like work sessions or powwows or whatever are like with my girlfriends who I work with, who I've like met through this business, who think there's value in people who think differently than you. Come on, we know this. But like, if someone's like on the same page as you, I can't tell you how many like Enneagram 7s I can work with, because I can talk about 7 topics at a time and they can understand. Like, it's like, yes, let's do this. It's just like fun. So like, be really, really excited about operating in your niche and like finding the people who really resonate with you, because like, this is an awesome business. This is a great opportunity to build residual income, freedom, all the things. It's also really fun to do it with people you like. Guys, like, let's do it with people that like fire us up and like motivate us and inspire us. And like, you'll find those people when you're talking about the things that you care about, and are true to you. I think that's all on my list. I always make a list because I sometimes tend to go on a tangent. And then the last thing I was going to say is stop waiting to have the perfect, well thought out branded niche to like do things. Just figure it out. Figure it out. Talk to your 2 best friends or your 3 best friends and be like, what's my niche? What's special about me? Help me. And then just like take baby steps. You know what I mean? Like, try out a reel and make a carousel and like be like, oh, what am I doing? But like, I'm trying, because the only way you're going to get to where you want to be in the very end is by doing a million things wrong. And I just think we're so afraid to fail. We're so afraid to do things wrong. And I think the best advice I ever got was like, the only people who don't hit Royal Crown Diamond are the people who stop. And I was like, all right, well, I just won't ever stop. I'll just keep going and we'll just get there one day. So I would just like be excited and do the things and fail a lot and be excited about failing, because honestly, that's the only way you get to where you're going. Okay, I'm done, I promise.
That was so good. So good. How many of you guys are like really enjoying this and have notebooks full? Thank you, Ashley Baldwin. She put all their IG handles in, but if the girls, those of you that spoke, if you guys could put your IG handles in again, that would be awesome. And so now we're gonna open it up for Q&A. So drop your questions. I saw a couple as we were going, but you can go ahead and drop your questions now, and then the speakers will kind of all pop off and answer accordingly. Excuse me, they'll answer. Are 2 accounts better? Who wants to answer that one?
We're all shaking our head. No. I don't know if anybody wants like a thorough explanation of it. I experimented with that for a little while, and I feel like kind of like what Lizzie was sharing, I feel like if you have a separate account that's all oils, like one, your lifestyle and who you are is going to incorporate the oils naturally, right? Like, but then it's like you're kind of just attracting oil people. I found like I was doing double the work, less serving, less happy, losing more time and productivity, having 2 pages. So no.
I also think it can come from a limiting belief. I don't want to share so much oils on my own page, so I'm going to create a second one just so the people that want to see it. You'll never grow that way. You have to find a way to funnel people to that. And if they're not interested in oils, they're not going to come see you anyways. But if they're interested in you, they're going to buy you before they buy oils. I would say no to stretch yourself too thin, 100%.
Is wellness too broad of a niche?
I don't know if this is going to be the unpopular answer, but I don't think your niche should be young living. So if your wellness aspect of your niche is like you're a gym person, I say go for it. If you're like super into fitness, you're like exercising a lot, go girl. Really. I mean, I'm proud of you. Or if you're like a yoga instructor and you're like, ooh, meditation, like, yes. But like, if your niche is young living, like, you're just going to attract all of us and we love you, but like, you're not going to enroll us. We're already enrolled.
Yeah, I would also add to that. I think sometimes we hide behind that a little bit. Like, I think I'm just going to pick wellness because that's just what I want to do. And it's like, I would just challenge you to think outside of that. Now, if you're like Lindsay is, she's a nurse practitioner. And so that really is her niche. She shares a lot about freedom, medical stuff. Awesome. But like, and I've got one of my good friends, she's on this call, Mel, she is a certified fitness coach. And so like, that's her niche. That's what she talks about. So if you have a job, another one of my girls on my team just niched down, and she's actually a crime analyst, which I think is a super cool job. And she was kind of on there sharing a few different things and doing a great job. But I was like, why don't you go on and start to share like female safety tips? That would be huge. Like, who doesn't want to follow an account that's going to teach you ways to keep yourself safe walking out of Target? Because we're all like looking at our phones like this. I was like, what's your job? So I think one of the things you can ask yourself is, what are my qualifications? You know, what jobs have I had, or what's something that I'm known for outside of wellness? Because there are so many people talking about wellness, and you are going to get people following, unless you're like a wellness certified coach or something else like that. I would say, hold on a second. Is it wellness for mental health by working out? Yeah, I mean, if you are on a mental health jelly, and here's the other thing with niches, sometimes you're in a season of something, so you're going to be seasonally talking about something a lot. So if I said new mom earlier, but something like that, like if you're a new mom or you're going through some postpartum stuff, you could almost pivot your niche to be talking about that for a while. So there could be things that you're kind of going through. So if you're going through some mental health issue and you're overcoming some stuff, like I went through some pretty bad like adrenal fatigue back in, actually hit adrenal fatigue, like just because I was doing all that hustle stuff that, you know, some of the girls are talking about, and it's not healthy when you're not giving yourself a break. And so now I'm doing it completely differently and feel so much better. But, you know, and I still am talking a lot about stress recovery, because it's a massive, massive thing that we can, you know, we're so ambitious and we want to do well for our family. And, you know, you guys are all here because you're passionate and you want to build dreams for your family. And that is incredible. And absolutely you can do it. You know, but you don't want to do it at expense to yourself. You know, you want to be looking after yourself and that kind of stuff. So sometimes your niche will be kind of what you're going through currently as well, one of your niche topics. It's a whole other thing. But I would say if you're just thinking, I just need to talk to people who like oils already, then I would challenge yourself and think, why am I trying to hide behind that and not stepping out into something else that feels more scary for me to share?
Does anybody see Kari's question about being nervous about niching down? I would like, because of the negativity and backlash, the biggest thing that I would tell you is use that block button. Something that has served me in multiple ways is just putting up what I'm not going to tolerate and just shutting it down. Like you are, there is a huge community, girl, that's going to support you and want to hear from you and is going to be in the trenches with you. Don't make yourself small to make other people comfortable. Block those people, or they're just going to not come anyways.
To add to that, I want to share, because I feel like some of what I share is just because of what I've gone through personally, health-wise, is somewhat a little controversial. But it is my story. I'm super passionate about it. I share in a way that's serving and to educate and to like encourage and empower. And there's a way you can go about doing it that is more like in that encouraging, empowering, as opposed to like, I think there's another side that we see that's like, this is bad or this is wrong. Like, you know, so just shedding that light on it, but also like when you are walking in that, you are 100% going to attract the right people to you. And like Kathleen was saying, it's pretty bomb when you're working with people that just get it and you have that in common with them. And it's awesome. Like, because this is like your family in a sense, like a work family. So just want to add that in.
I think a good amount of us on here are military or military wives. Don't know if that's true, but I'm pretty sure they are because I know that a couple of us are and we have our teams on here. I'll just be really honest. We built almost completely to silver and gold with almost all of my builders being military wives as well. And there are a lot of women on my team who I know are really benefiting off of an income when a single family military income is very difficult to live off of. And so I don't have any regrets about that. I know that there's a lot of like issues that come with like picking something that could be controversial, but like exactly like Lindsay said, like serve your people, you know, be authentic to yourself. And I think it'll be fine because there's so much joy in my heart every time I like talk to one of my girls who's either her husband's still serving, she's still serving, or has like had any sort of financial freedom wins, because we all were in it together. I mean, like all of us were in the trenches of one income with kids, and like that's just really hard. And so there are a lot of people who are going to be like, oh gosh, you know, what you're sharing is what, I don't know. People are going to hate you regardless of what your niche is, truly. Like there's just always going to be people who like make fun of you or think you're dumb or whatever. And like, I just don't care. I don't think you should care. I think you're great. I don't know who you are, but I think you're great.
I think something too that's really important to kind of think about with all this is the intention that you put out is what you're putting out, you know, and it's literally all intention. So if you're sitting there and you're like, you know, I really care about, you know, talking to mamas and helping them when they are the single mom and, you know, doing this or etc., your intention of helping them is what's going to receive. And those people that hate on you and those people that say those comments are those people that are being triggered by your intentions, you know, and they're the ones that need to look it deep and really work on things that you're triggering from them. So you can think about it as like, oh, these people, but also like kind of think about the power in that. So like me personally, I'm like, if someone's reacting to me, then at least I'm making them think about something. I'm making them kind of reflect on something. And if it's irritating them, maybe it will help improve them in some way. And sometimes that can actually add value to them. So maybe they're not going to be coming to your team. Maybe they're not going to be, you know, saying sweet things to you, but, you know, just remember that every single thing that you think and you say and you put out there will affect people. And, you know, it may not be the reaction that they want. They may not see it for what it is, but later down the road, that video that you did that you were so scared of doing and you really, you know, put your heart into it may not have impacted them in the way you wanted to on July 20th, but maybe down the road and, you know, 2 years later, they're gonna be like, wait, that's like what the girl was talking about. And they may not come back to you, but you've opened up that energy for them. And that's like the essence of what we really want. So, you know, put that power of like, you may not be bringing them in, but you're also helping them. You know, we're always helping people because we have big hearts and we're trying to put our energy out there and we'll receive what we deserve. So just remember the power of your intention.
Yeah, I would also add that if you're not bumping into some negativity or people not liking you, then you're not stepping out enough. So you're not owning who you are and just going for it. Like sometimes we try and stay this like lukewarm, like sometimes you just need to fully be you and step out, dance if you want to, share your opinions if you want to. Like your people will find you. And when people click unfollow, it's okay. They just weren't your person. And so, you know, don't worry about the negative people or just the people that hit the unfollow button or whatever. But I would say if you're not bumping into anyone giving you opinions ever, then you're playing it a bit too safe. And I think you should step out more because you're amazing. And there are people out there that need to hear what you're going to share. And so don't let the negative people take from those people that actually need to hear from you. Don't let those negative people stop you, because there are people out there that need to hear what you're going to share with them and how you're going to help them.
Somebody had asked in here, I think it's Ashley, about Social Selling Academy. Are there any other boot camps to help with business, like a mentorship? Grow, the group that we posted in, guys, is amazing. The collaboration in there, and Jill serves so much. And if she has a group called Becoming Unstoppable, if you have not joined that, it is free and it tells you the things to do. So honestly, you want to do a boot camp, coaching is going to be different than a boot camp. I see some of you guys asking for coaching in a boot camp. Boot camp is literally telling you the steps that you need to do every single day to build your business, from IPAs to checking your back office, to running reports, to doing personal development. Coaching is going to come at you and help you get out of your head whatever's keeping you stuck and move past limiting beliefs. So they're very different. But if you're looking just for like a boot camp, which remember, you need sustainable, like the biggest thing we're really trying to work through here is sustainable work habits. When you're thinking about a boot camp, you're thinking of running hard for 30 to 90 days or 60 days. Is that duplicative? Is that going to create the work-life balance that you want? go in there, use the tasks that she posts, schedule them within your day. And I think that you'll find much more happiness and more habit forming out of that than kind of finding a boot camp that's just gonna, make you run super, super hard, and then you're gonna crash and then burn out and then fall off the face of the earth, and then everybody's not gonna trust you, because that's what happens. And then you come back 6 months later. That's burnout. But a coach, I like Brandon Barber because I worked with him. Thank you, Jill, for plugging all that. I don't know if anybody else has had a coach, but I really thrived with him. He's super kind and very great to work with.
Someone's asking if they should just use their name as their IG handle.
Yes, definitely. So if you've got something that's kind of fluffy and fuzzy, I would say change it to your name.
There's another one in here. It looks like Brittany Blue talking about depression and bringing positivity to her page. I'm going through some severe anxiety right now. It's like post-COVID anxiety. I have been in therapy on Wednesdays for 3 years. I absolutely love it. I'm super transparent about that. And I show up to talk about my anxiety and my emotions and a bit of the vulnerability about it. And it has helped serve so many people. And I've made so many connections, nothing to do with Young Living, just people that are saying, me too. Oh my God, I feel like this. What's that book? And for me, it just makes me feel really good. Obviously, there's a vulnerability line where you can overshare and it makes people uncomfortable. Just know where that boundary is. And I would say, like, as the things, if you're having a hard day, share a quote. I always try to show up and be an inspiration for somebody, even on my hard days. But people will come to you and say, me too. So I would just say, if you could find the balance between that, I think that's a great way if you're working through it. And it's something that's happening in your life. You can't show up authentically if you're not feeling that way. I don't know anything about the military. Women in military and in leadership contact follow militaries when there are restrictions on doing that. Does anybody know? I think a lot of us are spouses. Kathleen, were you active military?
Yes.
Okay, she can probably answer that.
Are you, sorry, I just might need some clarity. Are you talking about enrolling people that you work with, or are you talking about OPSEC? Oh, you're asking for a team member. You're welcome to send me a private message, just because I would love to actually give you clarity, and I don't know if we have time on this. But if it comes to, I'm going to be honest with you, we never enrolled we never enrolled anyone that felt like it was like a conflict of interest. And I think the only officer's wife that we ever enrolled, if I'm being super transparent, was literally when my husband switched from active to reserves, and then she bought a kit. And I think that was intentional on her part, which is to each their own. But when my husband was active duty, when he was on duty, he lived at the station half the year, and he had his own barracks there. So he had his diffuser and thieves cleaner and all the things in his own room, which he shared with 4 other guys. So almost everyone at that unit was one of our members, because they all were sleeping really great. They all were using the thieves cleaner in their bedrooms, and truly just him having the stuff there, all of them eventually, and then all of them had babies, and ours was the only one that slept. And so all the guys would come in and be like, oh, thank God, now I can finally get a full night's sleep. And Dean was like, y'all are, I don't know what's going on at your house, but I'm sleeping great. And it just was a ripple effect. So we never had an issue with people he worked with. I might need clarity on that. So I don't want to take up too much time, but I might need some more info there. If you're talking about OPSEC, we'll just talk in messages.
I have a question. I'm just going to ask it. So I don't know how many people I could speak for on this call, but when you're in that kind of in between space where you still have a lot of warm market friends and family that follow you, that you really love and respect, and you value their opinion, but then you're trying to make that leap of, okay, I'm niching down to attract cold market. That in between, okay, I'm gonna be all authentic and true to myself, and in that worry of what if the people I care about, that I've talked to for so long, I've seen my family for so long, unfollow. Because I know for me, that was a hard place of wrestling initially. And now I'm really working into that zone of the niching, and okay, I'm prepared to do that. But that was like a little bit of a struggle. Is there anything that you guys can say to speak to the people on that bridge of, I've spoke to my warm market and my people for so long, and I'm about to do this pivot. I've done some self-growth of, all right, we're going to work on this niching down, and I'm just going to have to accept that the people that I love and friends and family, they may not be on board with this whole niche thing, and they may not want to follow me, and they may be like, what are you doing? And I know that sounds like it might be a simple answer, but when you're in it, it seems like a really big thing. So is there anything that any of you guys can say to that?
Yes. So when I was kind of niching down last, I'd say, I think it was around November, I was like, okay, I'm really going to run with this. My best friend growing up, she's in England, and we haven't talked massively in the last few months or whatever. But anyway, we're just one of those people, those friendships you have where you meet and you pick up right where you left off. It's one of those. She's amazing. Anyway, she only just commented on something on my Instagram today. She was like, I just watched one of your IGTVs, and like, that was so fun. I'm like, it's just crazy because of how much I just really niched down and went this one direction and went with it. It is funny when you do that. And I remember those feelings of like, what's everyone going to think about this? But like, I'm just going to own it and run with it and really enjoy it. But what I would say to that is, I think Facebook is amazing for warm market and keeping it there. And I don't share my Instagram stuff to Facebook, but I do share my Instagram stories to Facebook stories, because Instagram stories are really still for your warm market and people that know you, because I'm showing my kids in there. I'm showing what we're doing that day, showing what coffee I made, showing what our new puppy's up to. Like, I'm just like bringing people in. So I share that to Facebook, but I think Facebook is where I'll still go on and I'll post all the pictures of things we've been doing this week, and then keeping Instagram like a business storefront. Like, this is where I'm showing up, and if they unfollow on Instagram, it's okay. I mean, it's like, yeah, I would say if you have any apps that tell you who's unfollowing you, just delete those right now, because it never makes you feel good. So just pretend you don't know any of that stuff, and just run, fast after the people that are going to be following you and the new people that you're going to reach. But yeah, I'd say keep Facebook for your warm market.
That's phenomenal advice, because it really is. And I think a lot of people start on Facebook, or I know years ago that was kind of where you started, and then you went to Instagram to grab a different market. Whereas now some people that are starting are doing both at the same time. So I can totally see where that's triggering. And then how is it holding you back mentally to not move forward because you're in that uncomfortable space? Diana has a question about, when you pick 1 to 2 hero products, do you sprinkle some other wild products in here or there? For example, so many, I know, I do not realize we have CBD, but I would not use it. So there's things I don't use. I don't like the deodorant, and I'm not going to talk about it, and I'm not going to tell you I like it. But I am going to put up a transfer buying sheet that tells you all the things that we do have that you can get when I'm talking about subscribe to save, or I'm talking about what you can get monthly, or how we buy from here and not there, and how transparent. I would say it doesn't mean that just because we have these other products that you have to talk about them because you want to sell them as an opportunity. I feel like our stories are what sells our products, and we need to be connected to those hero products with a story that is true to who we are. But I would have no problem throwing up a transfer buying sheet. I mean, there's stories everywhere. The Life Steps apps. Go to Instagram, find people you like, screenshot what they're doing. Like, you can get them, make your own on Canva. And then that way you're advertising. People didn't know we have supplements. Some people just use oils and didn't know about supplements. But if you can do those types of things, people will see the other stuff we have.
I think just to add on to that, what's so helpful, and we were kind of sharing in the chat, is if you haven't created a MyYL space yet, to just be able to highlight your products, like your bundles, like you can play around with that and create different ideas. And as Lizzie was mentioning, if you're like in a different season where you're focused on more things, like I'm pregnant right now, so I'm focused on, like, I wanted to add a couple bundles that are more focused towards that, but it really helps you have fun with it. And you can pick things outside the hero products. If you're looking to, like, hey, somebody asked me about this specific topic, I can just show them this list. It's like literally pressing the easy button. So I would have fun with that and share it with your team.
All right, my turn to ask a question. So one of my limiting beliefs that I can't seem to ever shake is being a guy. I don't know why I'm about to cry, because I don't actually, I look past it and I try to share with people. But I look at, I honestly don't know why I'm crying right now. But I just look at the pain in this world, and I know it all needs healing and things. But being a guy, I feel like is one of my limiting beliefs, because I know that, the biggest market is moms healing children, or, things like that. I always look at you guys all talk about being moms, and you're all mostly women. My wife has severe anxiety and things. That's probably why I'm crying. But I know that she would be really good at this if she could get past that. I'm trying, but sometimes it's a really big struggle. Wow, I didn't know I was gonna cry. Any encouragement would be nice in that area.
I would say probably my first thing that I would encourage you with is, one, wow, you're so brave coming and sharing that. Two, I would find a bunch of Young Living guys and I would follow them. Like, the best thing that comes out of this for a lot of us is community. And so, like, how cool to be able to like see other men, even if they're like spouses whose wives are running the business, but they're now active in it. Like that, I think that would be so encouraging for you to have like your social media be flooded with like other men doing it or in it or like involved in it. I think that would be a great first step to just like really. Isn't there also a men's group? Why do I feel like I don't know what it is?
I was
but
just
it's there.
posting that. I know that there's a couple that are like exclusive
Yeah.
groups, but I'm blanking out on the name. We need to find them.
Yeah, someone tell me this.
Okay, yeah, essentially equipped challenge for men. Tiffany just posted that in there. And I think that's Varick's group, Birchfield.
Yeah, it's the EEC, and I think they actually meet together once a year.
I think it's quarterly they get together. It used to be.
I was just gonna say there's such a need for this with guys. Like, I mean, I think about like the state of our world and everything going on. And if all the men would be using all the oils, this would be like, I mean, the perfect situation. So you're a crusader, first of all. Like, it's amazing that you are just kind of leading with this because there's a need. So I just want to encourage you, like, your start is not how you finish, right? So, just be persistent and consistent in what you're bringing to the table and networking with different guys and sharing what's working for you, because there is such a big need for this with men and all the men that are going through such emotional and physical struggles, but don't realize that they have this kind of support and they need to hear it from a guy, right? Because I'll say as a wife, my husband won't take the advice from me. So they'll need to hear it from a guy, right? So you will have that special in of being able to connect with people. So I hope that encourages you.
My husband said to me today, so my husband's silver in my organization that I run, saying that as I can, but he qualified for silver retreat. He loves the foundation. It brings him to tears, like grown man, literally crying about he is a 2-time veteran, disabled, wanted to go to Africa with the foundation to help pick bugs out of kids' feet, to the chiggas, to get them shoes, like literally sobbing during all of it. Like, just know, like, there is so much room at the table for men. It's just women, I think, create community easier just randomly because that's just our personalities. But if you just start talking, my husband said to me today, how many girls are going? And I'm like, oh, 7 for my team. And he's like, are there any men? And I'm like, no. He goes, so I'm going to be the third wheel. I go, you're going to be the 8th. But in other words, like, but he knows my team. But at the same point, he went to men's advance twice. I don't know if they still do that. He flew to California the first time. It's a men event. Eric Walton's there, Jim Bob's there. I forget who ran it. He went 2 times and filled his cup up, all with Young Living, either spouses or business people, tons of veterans, men with anxiety. Like the stories my husband said he heard there, like he goes, this is just way bigger than what just being a husband married to somebody that does Young Living or a man in Young Living. So put yourself out there and connect with a lot of these names that these girls have given you, because there is a huge place for you.
I also wanted to say too, like you mentioned your wife, you know, think about the power and like, you know what, doing it together, you know, raising each other up, using each other, you know, there's so many couples that do this business together, or at least influence each other and, you know, allow each other to grow with this, you know, have ideas, plan things together, you know, figure out what your strengths are for each other, what your weaknesses are, you know, talk about oils together. So then it's easier to talk about it and you have more confidence, but you have a really huge, benefit of being able to do this as a team as well, you know, and think about the power in that. And also something, you know, you see all the women doing it. And again, like that's a very a large market. And like they've been saying, like you have this beautiful strength, you have compassion, you know, you care, you really want to help people. And all you have to do is just start putting that out there. And really, you have a specialty because all of us are sitting here trying to figure out what that special thing that somebody's going to see us talk about, when you could literally just start talking anything Young Living, and that's it for you, because people are going to see that, it's going to impact them, and they're going to say, wow, who's this guy that's talking about this stuff? And it's a very you have a very, very simple way of projecting that out. But I also want to kind of open up an energy for you that is very vulnerable, that you just did in front of us. But you know, men feel the same way as women, they just don't talk about it, or they just don't show it. And I will tell you, I mean, this makes me want to cry, the things that you can do for other men by just opening that energy up, you know, just saying, you know what, if you feel frustrated or if you feel overwhelmed, just put white angelica on. And just saying those small little things and putting that awareness out there, I mean, you literally have the ability to allow men to be like, I can help myself, I can help myself emotionally, and maybe I don't have to talk about it, or I don't have to keep on building this up inside, because now I have an avenue, and I have another brother, another guy that can actually, you know, that's relating this to me and allowing me to know that it's okay, I feel like this, it's okay that I have this energy, and exactly normalize the feelings. And that is so powerful just in itself. I mean, you really have this beautiful thing unraveling right in front of you, in front of us, that you can help, you can reach people on so many different levels, so many different levels. So, you know, just look in the mirror and say, you know what, this is exciting, I can do this, and I'm going to do this, and I have some really beautiful things to offer.
Thank you all. That was amazing. I went through and screenshotted everything because I don't think comments save through recordings. But yeah, I didn't ever think about, you know, taking my manhood as my niche. I never thought about that. That's a good idea too. You know, and kind of using that aspect. It was good. Thank you.
This has been so good, guys. Tim, thank you so much for stepping out and sharing. That was like really amazing and so good. I hope you feel encouraged. So, all right. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you everyone for bringing questions. Thank you to the speakers. We will post the recording in the event, and then you're free to share it in your groups. To save the chat, you're just going to hit the 3 dots that you see at the bottom, and you'll be able to save the chat if you would like to save the chat. If you have any questions after this, you can ask them in the event. I'll go through the event tomorrow just to check it, and we'll circle back with you. But you guys have a great evening. We're going to hang out here for just another couple minutes to let you save the chat.
Can I ask where was the event? Because I was told about this in one of my leaders groups.
That's right. It is a private event. I'm sorry. So a lot of you probably just have the Zoom link. So we will try, those of us that posted it to a group, I would encourage you, if the leaders are still in here, to just take the recording. We're going to be posting the recording as many places as we can tomorrow so that it gets out to you. So if you're on here and you don't see it, contact one of us through the our Instagram handle or your leader that was on the call, and we'll be sure that you have it if you don't see it in your group tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll update it and grow.
Oh,
I'll put it,
there you go.
yeah, I'll edit it and
Thank you,
put it in
Jess.
in the grow post, and then nobody has to worry about it. That's a public group, so everybody can go on in there and grab it straight from that post.
I didn't even think about that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I think that'll be the easiest. We hadn't planned on opening it up. And then this last minute this afternoon, we were like, you know what, like we felt like everything that we wanted to talk about was we're really coming from servant leadership, and that it would have helped so many people depending on where, like everybody in their business in different areas. So I can say, like, I think we're all pretty stoked that we did this. As nerve-wracking as 10 pages long people on a call is, it still was awesome. And we hope that you guys loved it.
Yes, so I'm sorry I didn't mention that. Thank you, Jess, for catching that. So good.